Cafe on TLSC Radio.
TLSC Radio. One, two.
Get ready, it's free, 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 free. Get ready, it's free, 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 Get ready, it's free, 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 free. Ready, it's free, 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 free.
Okay, everyone, welcome to the Simply Free Little Talk. Thank you for joining us. As always, we thank our faithful audience for always tuning in to the Lounge Soul Cafe on the Simply Free Little Talk. I'm so glad today. I'm just really excited, guys. Thank y'all for joining always. It's such a pleasure when you have faithful listeners who tune in and just really appreciate the show. I just wanted to say thank you for that. But I have in the studio with me an amazing host of her own talk show, Miss Electra James of Inspirational Talks, and we got an awesome topic. Welcome, Miss James.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy about being here.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm excited you're here. That's why I was stumbling on telling them that on the Lounge Soul Cafe, on the Simply Free Little Talk, I'm just really glad you're here because of the conversation that we're going to engage in. It's going to be so
Ye-
great, and it's going to be so informative for you guys. And then later on the show, we're going to have an interview with Mr. Kimble Anders, the former NFL player who was inducted into the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame. So isn't that awesome?
That's a good thing. That's a
Yes,
good thing.
ma'am. Yes. Well, Miss Electric, let the people know why I'm so excited, because once they hear you and the godly wisdom God has given unto you, and I want you guys to begin to follow Miss Electric James Inspirational Talks. But you always come from a place of wisdom, and it's always godly
Mhm.
wisdom. Can you share how is this possible?
What makes it possible that for what, from my perspective, is how God will take you in directions that even you doubted.
Mm,
There's so many people already out there who doubt you.
wow.
But God don't doubt you. What he does is he stirs up those tools on the inside of you. Everything that you have, everything that God wants for you to do, he's already given you every piece of equipment that you need. And you have to follow his voice. One of the things that getting started with the podcast was I woke up one morning during the pandemic and I'm looking at everybody's able to tell their stories who's a celebrity. But everyday people don't get to tell their story. And
True.
I began to cry, and that's
Um,
when I came up, not just right away, but stop hiding your story.
mm,
That is something that was the foundation of rolling that out. Stop hiding your story on
stop hiding
Electra
your
James
story.
Inspirational Talk. Because we all have a story.
We all do.
We
Yes, we do.
all do. And we have to recognize to stop being afraid of ourselves. We get in our own way.
Mm,
And how that happens, let me go back. And as I spoke with you before and said, with everything around you looks like and is saying to you that you're failing, that's telling you to quit everything around you.
Everything.
And then you hear that voice of God coming through and telling you, you keep standing.
Wow.
You have to keep standing because if not, you will fail yourself because you hear all the chatter, all the noise, all of
Wow.
the doubt, all of the discouragement, all of the naysayers. That's around you. When everything around you is saying no, God is saying yes. When
Yes,
everything
he
around you is
is.
saying, sit down. I'm talking about circumstances and people. Sit down. You need to sit
Wow.
down. That's when God whispers and say, no, you need to stand. So you got
Mm,
to stand when everything and everybody is around you saying, sit down. Because
that's
at that
powerful.
point, God is trying to come through. He wants to come through for you because he wants you to be that example that people need to see.
Mm. This is
Because
so awesome and inspiring because what
y-
you're saying is with all the odds, with all the sit down somewhere, you're not good at that.
mhm,
You know,
yes,
why do you think who do you think you are or why do you think you can do this? But then God is not even whispering, he's speaking loudly to you over that
yes,
noise saying, keep going,
mhm,
stand up, continue,
yes.
ma'am. Yes, I love it.
And you know why I say whisper free is because I imagine God not having to scream anything at us.
Amen. I agree.
He
But
don't
he
have
is
to
a
make
still
us,
small
he
voice.
does not have, and he doesn't have to make a statement to everybody else. What God
Yes,
has to
that's
say
true.
to you, he's saying it to you. And he wants you to know that he's on the inside of you. That's why I say he whispers that to you, because he's letting you know this conversation is between me and you.
Mm. I
So
like
when the
that. You actually brought something up to me a while back about that.
Mhm.
That
Uh-huh.
he didn't invite everybody in the conference that he had with me.
That's
Everybody
right.
does not even get invited to the conference room. Kind of elaborate on that. You're touching on it, but I want
Yeah.
the people to understand why I'm excited about your godly wisdom.
Okay. I absolutely. God don't do conference calls. He does not do conference calls. When God gives you your calling, when God sets your assignment out before you, he don't invite everybody else. That assignment is between you and him. You're going to either pass it or fail it. And the way
Wow.
that we pass it, we keep our eyes on the prize. In other words,
Yes.
you work in your gifts. If God say, I need you to move over and okay, you've been doing that enough. I want you to try this. I want you to do. He's already made the way for you to do whatever that next thing is for
Whatever
you
that
to do.
is.
And so that's why you can't allow people in on the things that God shares and calls you out to do. Because he called you out among this very people that, let me back up some and say
Come
this.
on. You take your time with it.
God has heard some things that you did not hear.
Come
And
on,
God
teach.
has saw some things that you did not see. And that is why at that time he was covering you. And the reason
Wow.
why he had to cover you, because if you would have saw those things and you saw the people that you believed and trusted in, the very ones that was really not with you, he shielded you, he covered you, and he
Thank you,
carried
Lord.
you.
And
He
I believe
carried you
all of that. I believe all of that. I, you
because
know, oh, keep going.
mhm,
Ooh, it's getting me excited.
he knew, he knows our strength.
Yes,
He's
he
so
does.
amazing. He knows
Yes.
our strength. See, when people see us, and I'm talking about individuals, not just me, not just you, but just as individuals, as human beings. When people see you and they want to fight you, they're
Mm,
really not just, see, they think that they just fight, that they fighting you.
Come on.
because they don't see God
They don't
that
see God.
dispatched them angels, that stirred up that Holy Spirit, that put that wall of protection around you. So, see, really, if it was just you, they would have been knocked you down. They would have been
Wow.
destroyed you. They would have been took you out. But you are
Wow.
not
Wow.
there
Wow.
by
Wow.
yourself. God is there. He with you. And when
My
I
Lord.
tell you his protection, those angels, people don't have a clue what they coming up against.
They
And
don't
that's
have
why
a clue.
sometimes I know you probably heard the older people say before, where somebody might have told them, I thought we killed you yesterday.
Mm.
But you know why they
Wow.
didn't? Because them angels didn't let them take you out.
Them
And when
angels
I
didn't
say
allow
killed
it.
you yesterday, I'm saying broke your spirit, made you
Wow.
give up, made you not want to get out of bed, made you not want to keep working on that project, made you want to forget about being an entrepreneur, made you want to forget about having your own family, made you forget
Mm.
about somebody being out there that God has chosen to love you as a woman of God. See,
The
that's
right
what they
way.
try to kill. All of those things, your character, because you have to remember this. Whenever, whenever people are angry with you, whenever people feel like you're not worthy, see, they are envy of you with the things that they can't go to Walmart or CVS or nowhere else and purchase.
Mm.
See, they can't go get your coarse hair. Everybody want coarse hair, and you got it, but they can't go buy that because they want theirs to be
Wow.
just like yours. They can't go and purchase your personality. They can't
You better
go and
teach.
purchase your integrity. They can't go and and
Yes.
purchase your stability and your outlook on life. CVS don't sell that.
Ah, CVS don't sell that.
CVS don't sell your tenacity. Walmart don't they don't sell your integrity. It's
Mm.
the things that they can't go to the store and purchase about you that they don't like.
Ugh,
And that is why when they are doing things they're telling you to sit down, that's why you keep standing.
that's
Because
why
there's some things about you that they just can't go purchase.
now you
There's some
guys
things
hear this
about every
inspiration.
individual.
Mm. So
Huh?
inspiring. So inspiring. I'm
Yes.
just saying I'm informing the audience. Do
Mm-hmm.
y'all are y'all with me out here? Are y'all hearing why I'm
Mm-hmm.
inspired by her? Every word you just
Mm-hmm.
hang on to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Continue, Miss
Yes.
Electra. Continue. We just
Because you
excited to
have to
acknowledge what you're
that
saying.
make it out here.
Wow.
Because people will turn their backs on you.
Yes.
But
Thank you,
God,
Lord.
he never will. He
I'm
never
grateful
will.
for that. But can I add this to that? I actually experienced the
Go ahead.
appreciation of that,
Go
the appreciation of those
ahead. Mm-hmm.
that do all of the negative things and all of those leaving your
Absolutely.
life. I've learned to appreciate that because all it tells me is they don't have what I need for my next
Absolutely.
levels, and that's okay.
Right.
It's nothing wrong with that, and I don't have what they need for theirs. you
Exactly.
know
You
I'm
know,
not
I
gonna
was
wallow in foolishness.
right. I told a niece of mine, she just passed the Hesse, and then
Oh,
people were,
congrats.
responding to her. And so I respond and I said, well, now what you need to do is go drink you another cup of level up.
Come on, another
Go
cup of
drink you a
level up.
cup of
Love it.
level up. And
Ooh,
that
Miss
is the
Electra.
same thing for us. You
Yes,
need to
we
reward.
didn't
If you
hear.
pass a test, reward
Yes.
yourself. I
Wow.
said, if you pass a test, learn how to reward yourself for your accomplishments.
Mm.
You understand?
Yes. Every
Nobody else gonna
milestone.
do that for you. If
Every
you pass a
milestone.
test, reward yourself. Take yourself out to eat. Do a bubble bath. Do something for you. If you go
Mm.
and start your company, go. I don't care if you just got the keys before you went to open up the door to to the building. Take yourself somewhere, and even getting that key in your hand is an accomplishment. It is,
Mm.
because it was
My,
a
my, my.
day when you didn't even think that you could get the key to a building that you could call your business. Everything that you do, reward yourself for your accomplishments,
Yes.
because you can't expect people to do what God expects you to do for yourself. God expects you to love yourself. You know why? He created you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So you
Yes.
should love everything about yourself because He created you.
That's
He
right.
gave you the sight, He gave you everything about you. God did that. And so, time that you speak against yourself, or you don't do things to reward yourself to say, thank you, God, for letting me and opening that door up for me to let me go through. Because there's some doors that were shut and He sent
Yeah.
somebody to open them.
He
And there
opened
was
those
some
doors.
doors that was open and He sent somebody to shut it. Because He knew if I let her on the inside of there, if I let him on the inside of there, that's going to destroy them. So
Wow.
some of the things that's being kept from you by God are purposely kept,
Yes. And I thank him when he does. I
because
thank
those
him
things
every
they were never, mhm, they weren't going to benefit you in the long
time.
run. They
Not
were
at
not going to
all.
benefit you.
Not at all.
I
You know,
remember
and some people
when
leave
I
our
was in
lives, Miss Electra, because they have nothing to add.
uh-uh, no, no, and if you're not adding, that means you subtracting.
Exactly. Exactly. Trying to come to deplete,
I mean,
still kill and destroy. So thank you for
yes,
explaining that. Yes. Yes. You've explained that
mhm,
well.
yes.
Ooh, I
Hmm.
just love him.
I told my own daughter, yeah, I told my daughter, I said, one thing,
You told her one thing about,
don't you never get. We all need to, all of us. We need to be mindful of, we need to remember always. I don't care if somebody got two Mercedes. That's their bills.
exactly.
You never be upset about what somebody else
Nothing.
have. You thank God for what you have.
Exactly. And be grateful.
Because otherwise you just jealous of somebody else's bills.
My,
That
my.
hey, I'm happy you got that mansion. But I know I don't need it because I ain't got the money to pay for it.
Wow.
So when you are upset about what somebody has and you start beating yourself up and why I can't, you need to celebrate because that's somebody else's
Celebrate.
bill.
Celebrate. Celebrate.
Never get upset. And how do that relate spiritually? It keep you going in the way that you're supposed to go and not creating distractions. Because if
Wow.
you get something that you can't afford that,
True.
it's going to distract you. That you would invest in like yourself and your walk with God and your relationship with God, you'll pull away from it because you're so busy trying to maintain something that it really wasn't even meant for you to have it.
Wow.
What's for you is
For
for
you.
I
That's
don't
true.
have to have everything somebody else got. I don't. You don't have to have somebody else got. And you don't have to be upset with people because they have it.
Mm,
You just got to know one thing. Everything I got, God made a way for me in that thing.
Wow.
You're
Miss
listening to
Electric,
the
one thing
Lounge
you just
Soul
said, we're
Cafe
wrapping up
on
that I want you to go into.
TLSC
You actually
Radio.
started
Mhm.
about distractions. Tell us how
Uh-huh.
crucially important that we should stay focused on our call, our purpose, because those distractions, what do why are those distractions purpose? What's the purpose of those distractions? Kind of help us
The-
out with that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Distractions are like a cancer.
Mm, my.
See, you don't realize, many of us, we don't even realize we got it until we go get that checkup. You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying? Because a distraction is like that. It's very silent at first. And how I'm relating it to cancer is because by the time you get to the doctor, they say, well, you at stage 1 or you at stage 2. You know what I'm saying? And so
Wow.
when you relate that to distractions, and distractions being like cancer, it works silent. But
Mm.
as it grows and gets traction, because it recognizes here's a part in this person's mind that I can attack. See, now you
Wow.
get ready to go into stage 3. So stage 3 is when you start realizing, oh, my body feel funny, something different. Why my leg hurt like that? Oh, I got these cramps in my stomach. You understand what I'm saying? You get these symptoms.
Wow.
Now you start trying to react to these symptoms because at first that distraction wasn't making any noise.
Mm.
But now it's got to keep moving and it's growing and it's got to do something different. Now, guess what? You are aware because it's at stage 3.
Oh my.
And when it gets to stage 3, we need to go get some chemo. In other words, the distraction is already trying to eat up parts of the body where it's located.
Ooh, eat it
And we
up.
feel that, and we got to go get something to try to stop that. Distractions are serious things because if you don't
Yes.
pay attention and tend to it, it will take you out.
You got to be careful. You
You
must be
got to
careful.
be, because it's
Amen.
designed to destroy.
Not come to
Cancer is
enhance.
cancer is really wants to be your final destination on this side.
Ooh,
That's
that's
why it hits
profound.
everywhere.
That's
And
profound.
it's the same thing with a
It wants to
distraction.
take you out. It just wants to take you out. The distraction wants to eliminate,
Yeah,
delay, deny, and eventually kill you.
yes.
Well, you have
But you
truly
got to,
explained that. Come on, tell us
once
about
you
our
hear that
part.
noise,
Yes.
once you hear that noise, once you hear the things that people saying, people doing, you start seeing, that's all of that stage 3. And you got to fight back and go get some life chemo, like
Ooh,
prayer,
come on, talk
like
about the
common
life
sense.
chemo is prayer. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. You relate that
Ooh,
thing. Distraction is a big deal because
yes,
that
it is.
thing there will be your final prognosis if
Wow.
you are not careful.
If you are
That's a
not
fact.
careful, that's a fact. Wow. Oh, Miss Electric, you have wrapped this thing up so nice with a beautiful bow at the end that tells us how crucially important that it is that we stay alert, we stay
Yes.
focused, we recognize what a distraction is and what that
Mm-hmm.
purpose of that distraction is. It's to get
That's
you
right.
off course. It's to take you up out of here. I like you said, it's your
Exactly.
last final destination on this side because
That's
it's
right.
cancerous and it's set up to kill you. It's set up to
Exactly.
deplete you. It's set up
Yes.
for you to be so distracted. And you even talked
Mm-hmm.
about the pain in your body,
Yes.
the hurts
Yes.
of your stomach, the hurts in your legs, and you say it's at that stage 3, and then it's preparing to take you out in stage 4.
Stage 3 is where you start getting some notifications that something is going on.
Mm.
In other words, you start looking at people. You start noticing like they ain't answering your phone calls like they used to. They ain't sending you no positive messages, text messages. They, the things
Wow.
that they used to do, they not doing that. That thing is at stage 3 now.
Uh-oh.
You got to get some life chemo.
Wow. Some life
In other
chemo.
words, you got to take some prayer and make it stop just being words and bring it
Yes.
into reality. Like this person really
Ooh.
doing that. I got to get this person out of my life
Well,
because
Miss
you
Electra
should be
James.
choosing your friends. Your friends should not be choosing you.
Oh, come on. Say that again. Say that again
You,
for those that didn't
you
hear the first time.
yeah, you should be choosing your friends. Your friends should not be choosing you. Because see,
Love
when
it.
your friends choose you, most of the times, they your frenemies.
Come on. Speak now.
And
Trying to get some
frenemies is a
information.
dangerous thing.
Yes.
Because I'm going to be
Yes.
your friend when I want to pretend to be your friend, but all the while, I'm working on the back end of this thing, and I'm really doing some things against you, so I'm really your enemy. So I'm just a
Yes.
frenemy.
Yes. Come on. Now you didn't just spoke some things that people need to pay attention to.
Hmm.
I've learned, this is what I've learned from that, is those that want to come in your life and they have one thing to say. They can recognize everything and they can tell you the things that they see. And it's
Hmm.
accurate. But then all of a sudden now they in agreement with what they knew was out of order. Now
Exactly.
who's leading you now? Because you
Stage
think
3
God was
cancer.
leading you at first, and you
Stage 3
still
cancer.
here.
That's who leading you. Stage 3 cancer.
Stage 3 cancer. I agree
That,
with
that,
that, but
that,
it's also self destruction, because see, you missing the blessing that's right there in your midst of your path, because you're selfish and hungry and greedy, and it's all about what can you get.
Let me tell you something. They ain't missing no blessings. They ain't
Mm,
never wanted none of that.
wow. Ooh,
The
that's true.
ultimate goal, that wasn't theirs anyway.
Wasn't theirs anyway. That's powerful.
Whatever you trying to stop me from having, that wasn't yours anyway.
Wasn't yours anyway. Yes, that's true.
So they ain't missing no, I know people say that all the time. I do say this. I'm like, hey, I ain't missed out on nothing, and they ain't missed out on nothing. Cause whatever was for me, I was gonna get that anyway. That
You
wasn't
was
no
gonna
blessing.
get
Cause,
that
cause
anyway.
hey, that wasn't nothing but a ball of confusion. Only one didn't
Wow.
know it was me.
Oh my goodness. You know what, Miss Electra? I know for time's sake we only have a few more minutes, but it's so much that you have poured in, sold into our lives tonight in this session. I would love for you to come back and do an hour session on the Simply Free Little Talk, just giving us words of wisdom. You've given us so much,
Sure.
but give us something to hold on to that we would be able to recognize some of the signs of a cancerous person. Let's say that a toxic person just want to come and see what they
Mhm.
can get from you.
Sure. Most of the times you look for signs like people being overzealous, wanting to call you all the time, want to text you all the time, want to get up and when they get up in the morning, I'm saying whatever time of the day, uh they target you. You understand what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Come on,
And
you talking.
you don't really realize that's what they're doing, but when they're being overzealous, you've been around
Yes.
people like that,
Yes, I
and
have. They just wanted
you
something.
because here's the thing. This is what I want to say. Me and you are friends.
Yes.
You don't have to call me
Definitely.
every day for me to know
Not at
that we
all. Come
friends,
on, say that.
that we sisters in Christ.
That's it. For
But
real.
one thing you can say, I know if I need a lecture, she there.
That's it.
See,
That
when
is true.
you got people in your life that you know that y'all got a foundation together, that's
Come
all
on.
of us. They don't have to hang out with you every day. But you know one thing, when my back is up against the wall,
Yes.
I can call her.
Yes.
When I need a word of inspiration, I can call her. I can text her and tell her I got something going on. Don't define friendship by they calling me every day. They texting me every day. They want to
That's it.
hang out every day.
That's it. You better say that.
Because a lot of times, if I got to do all that, if you got to do all of that, here's the thing, you're not respecting my space.
That's it. That is so true.
And people might say, well, that ain't no science. Yes, it is.
Yes,
Because when
it
it's
is.
in action, in real life action, if you think those been living a little while, if you think back on your life, that people act like they couldn't get enough of you, most of the time, them was the ones that hurt you the most.
Wow.
Just
Mm.
think back on your life. And that can be family and friends. The ones you did the most for.
Ooh, put a stopper right there. We gotta stop. We gotta stop. Oh my God! Thank you so much, Miss Electra. Of inspirational talks. Now you see, now you got to hear for yourself. Miss Electra is full of God's wisdom, and the way that she articulates it, it makes you think. She just left us a powerful nugget then. Think about the course of your life who was constantly pulling on you, needing you for this, needing you for that. They all alone was letting you know I'm just a thug trying to get something. You know what I'm
That's right.
saying? They had
Yes.
the tendencies. They was already letting you know I'm from the streets and and there's nothing wrong with being from the streets, but it's the way
No.
you do things if you just trying to get with people to get them to get what you want from them and out of them. So
Yes.
I thank you for giving us the wisdom nuggets that you have tonight. Again,
Yes.
please follow Miss Electric James Inspirational Talks on Facebook, IG, TikTok, and share
Yes.
anywhere else that they can find you. And you'll get this inspiration, guys.
Yes. YouTube. I transfer everything to YouTube now. I do it on TikTok and because I do news creations now. God just moved me
Yes,
to another level. So
yes,
I
he
I
sure
do
has.
news creations now on TikTok. And then TikTok allows me to also send everything, transfer everything to YouTube. From YouTube, it rolls it over to Instagram.
Awesome.
And then I mean Facebook. I mean like and then I take it and download my talks from YouTube to from TikTok to my YouTube channel. So I
That's
take
awesome. So
TikTok
y'all follow her.
is the motor, and so from that motor, everything else happens.
Wow. Well, there you have it. Inspirational talks. Um, for Miss Electra James, inspirational talks. You can find on all social media platforms. This is your host, Free Little. Thank you again, Miss Electra James, for being
You
here to give
welcome.
us the wisdom on the Simply Free Little Talk. We love
You
that you tune in faithfully. Be blessed.
yes. You too. Bye bye.
You're listening to TLSC Radio. Keep it locked.
All right, welcome to the Simply Free Little Talk Show. I'm so glad that you've tuned in tonight to hear from my special guest, Mr. Kimble Anders. I tell you, he's a former NFL player for the Kansas City Chiefs. Recently, he was inducted into their Hall of Fame, and I'm so proud of him tonight that he's here to tell his story. I'm always proud of him, just not tonight. So, Mr. Anders, thank you for joining the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure seeing you, and especially being on your show. I
All
enjoy
right.
it.
It's my pleasure to just
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Sir, you have accomplished a lot in a short time period because you just shy of what, 50 something?
60, 3 years but at the better half, 50,
The
50,
better half, huh? That is
56,
so
56. Yeah.
56. Well, that's a lot, and you really have achieved a lot. This is why I'm so proud of you. This is why I love interviewing you so that the audience can really get an understanding of you really are what the world quotes unquote as achieved from humble beginnings. So let's go to your childhood. What was your childhood like?
It was pretty tough though, to be honest. You know, I grew up in Galveston, Texas. I had a mom. My mom obviously wasn't married at the time when I was born, so and she had me at a young age. I think she was 16 when she had me and my older brother at 14. So just
Wow.
trying to get a hold of that, and she did the best she can as a mother. She was in medical school.
Absolutely.
She's trying to accomplish the world, but it knocked her back, and she had to take care of children, and she did that. And from that point on, it was kind of a little rough patch for us because she wasn't able to afford some of the things that she had. So we basically stayed in the projects in Galveston and Parkland. That was one of the places, the second place we stayed. But initially, we stayed down in where the chapel was at, and it's kind of the area we grew up in, the jungle. That's what we called it back then. And it was just a
Yes,
tough
yes,
environment. Used to be around, seeing a lot of things growing up as a kid. This was in the era in the '70s, pimps, prostitutes, and just the jungle was wild back then. A lot of gambling, a lot of a lot of killing, and a lot of drugs back then. More so like it wasn't the crack cocaine era; it was during the era of the powder, cocaine and stuff like
yes,
that. So I got an opportunity to witness a lot of that and see, some of the things I didn't want to be. I recognized that from the jump. However, it was an era of where the old school people they took care of us though. If I got in trouble at school, you was gonna catch a whooping all the way home. Those are the days before the whooping was ruled out and the cruel punishments and all that stuff. So to me, it was a blessing because I mean, that era was just so beautiful. It was Black Pride and Black and Proud, and all that stuff was coming up. Martin Luther King era, coming through all that
yeah.
stuff. So it was some great life lessons that I learned along my journey.
And that's amazing that you express in detail the things that you witnessed as a young child, but you also mentioned the structure that was there of people really importing in your life, taking care of you, looking out, you said. But
Yeah.
I love the fact that this didn't hinder you from becoming the man we see today, but you did admit it was a rough road. I love that you give honor to your mother and you explain, being a young mother, life happens, the environment of Galveston, Texas at that time that you witnessed firsthand. But what turned you to sports? Was that a way to get away from what you experienced as a child, or was that just the norm to be in sports?
But
To
at
play
that
sports?
time, I didn't know. It's just something. It was really natural. It's something once I seen it. I mean, for us even when we first started, now we had real PE back in the '70s, right? And just going out there playing, learning how to play basketball, baseball, soccer. We had to learn every sport in elementary just to pass the test. You know what I mean? And so
That's
it was
true.
just a fun activity, and we made it real. And I fell in love with it. Particularly football and basketball. Those things were some of the biggest things. I was able to play sandlot football outdoors every day in Parkland. We played over at Raccoon Park every day out there playing tackle. So we switched from tap to tackle, depending on how rough we want to get that day. So, and it was just a lot of fun. And then we had this, and it's funny because Rona B, all the guys, some of the
Yeah.
older OGs from Galveston, they claim they fame of raising me, but we played against projects, different projects played against each other. We played full out tackle with no pads, no nothing on. And we weren't even in the little league. It was just the guys in the neighborhood getting the team together and giving them some structure and learn how to work together. And that's one of the biggest things, I'll be honest, that I've gotten out of sports because it's so organized. Once you bring a team together, you have to work as a team, and that's one of the reasons I'm a people person. I'm one of the quietest people person, but I know how to work with a team. It's so natural.
Yes, yes, you do work well as a team, and I love your loyalty. You mentioned all the things and you named a few people, but you have a long standing history with your friends from childhood that you're
Right.
still that down home, down to earth young man, and you help your friends out. I've seen you do that. I've seen you give and be there for them. What do you contribute to your life that causes you to still remain that humble person versus I'm a celebrity and I've achieved so much?
Well, just truth be told, my humble beginnings. You know what I mean? Just seeing my mom go through a lot of things in life, and she was a great person. And when she was in her right frame of mind, she gave and she did
Yeah,
stuff. She did for us, and it was something just kind of. And my grandmother, to be honest, my grandmother was probably the glue to one who had
You're
played
listening to the Lounge Soul Cafe on
Michigan
TLSC
players.
Radio.
So me and my brother. So and that was at the younger age, but just being in that environment in Galveston, Texas, seeing that what some people didn't have and we didn't know. I think probably up until the age of high school, we didn't. I didn't know how poor we were. You know what I mean? We had food on our table. Now I will say that,
Come
but
on now.
I used to hate to go to the store with the food stamps and all that stuff, and I was a little embarrassed. But hey, we had food on the table, so I can never say I went to. But it was just those life lessons, I believe, growing up in that environment in Galveston and just seeing a beautiful part of, like I say, the '70s was a beautiful part of America. Growing up then.
I agree with you. I remember you as a kid. I also grew up in Galveston. I remember you and my uncle playing in Little League, as you mentioned, and even in Oleander playing. That was my first time with you. That was a projects in Galveston, guys, that existed. And he was this kid, always manable, but quiet. Didn't talk, but you played football back then. And that's when I
Yeah,
was tomboyish playing football too, thinking that that was the right
yeah,
thing to
yeah.
do back then.
Yeah,
I probably
so
would be injured now if I
yeah,
played football.
we had a lot of females back then, even in basketball.
Yes,
Raquel and them used to come play basketball with us. It was competition too. They
yes,
come out and play for real.
yes. We were serious about playing sports as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. You. I'm agreeing with you about the girls
Oh,
and the boys being competitive back then.
oh yeah. So like I said, for the most part, during that era too, and it was a lot of competition for us, different projects going against each other, and like going to Raccoon, and we'll take a team to Raccoon, and we'll take a team to Central,
Hmm.
we'll take team to St. Vincent, to Oleander, and we just go out there and compete, whether it's men, young women, whoever it was. And all we did was wanted to compete, and that was like I said, we were outside kids. Now again, we played outside all day. The only rule that we had that would get you in trouble, if you don't make it home before the street lights come on, your brother
Absolutely.
you get in trouble. So, but we stayed outside all day. We was outside from 8 in the morning to it was 85 jobs. It was
You
85
taking me
days.
back?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
taking me back. You're right. We could
And
stay
you
outside till the sun came up. Till it went. Well, we had to be in when that street light came on.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Don't think your mom and them, because back then we just had regular air conditioning. You cannot run in and out of the house because you'll miss, air.
Exactly.
That's another whooping right there.
That's true. And if not, then you had to stay inside, and nobody wanted to stay inside back in the 70s. No one
No,
did.
now
Not at
it's
all.
hey,
So
we
you
only
get to
had
high school.
what
Huh? Go ahead.
we had what 4 channels or 6 channels we could watch. We
That's
had the
it.
basic channel, then the UF channel. You could watch 2 channels on that. So it wasn't like you had a lot of TV to watch.
The choices we have today. That's the
Oh
thing.
no,
So in high school, let's get to high school. Now you develop your skills. You like, you say competition. You get to high school. You wanted to play basketball, but then football
yes,
came in. What made
yes.
you have to change?
Well, as funny as this may sound, it was. So I had, like I said, my mother struggled with some things, and I moved in going into my freshman year. I moved in with my sisters and my stepmom, and
Hmm.
from there on. Uh, but it was essentially a point where that I wanted Galveston when we grew up, especially the sixth, seventh, eighth grade, especially eighth grade. We was the last all eighth grade team at Central, and we used to go to the ball high game. The ball high game is like going to a professional football game. I mean, these guys
Absolutely.
talented, the Kerrvilles, Aston Williams, just had so many phenomenal players, and a lot of them went off to college, and some played NFL, which we didn't know the history when I was that young. I didn't know that much
Yes.
history. Was already brewed
Agreed.
in Galveston at that young age. But I do remember like Leroy Paul, because he was in the US, I mean, on
Yes.
Canadian League football at the time. But I didn't know about the other guys that went to Kansas City, Whitney, Big Whitney. So it was
Yes.
so much history, and so with being in the end zone at the game, and it was just so appealing to be part of the football team. However, that summer, I was about 5'10", 5'11" in the eighth grade. I was averaging about 30 points a game at junior high basketball, and we had a great basketball team too.
Definitely.
So that summer I was working at the Boys and Girls Club. Doing the summer programs we get to get paid to work and all that stuff. And I was telling people the rumors going around I wasn't gonna play football. Man, them coaches came over there. They pretty much made me play. They had no choice. It wasn't an option. So at that point, so I went on to
True.
settle for both sports, and the rest was history. But I was not gonna play. I was gonna stick with basketball. I thought I was gonna be this great basketball player, but that was far from the truth.
Wow. So it was either for in your mind the NBA, but the NFL was not on your agenda, but you ended up in the NFL. Thank God you
It,
did.
it, it was on my agenda. I love football. It's just for some that one moment of me saying I'm not gonna play football and just stick with
Yes,
basketball. And that was just a decision at the time that I had
at
to
the
get past.
time.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because that didn't make no sense. But
That ain't make
and
any
also
sense.
no, no,
Make that make some sense. But I love the fact that again, you always acknowledge everyone else. And again, going back to just remembering that little boy that played football, that was just trying to have fun, like you said,
right.
competing, competition, the camaraderie of the neighborhoods all throughout Galveston, and just friendship. So here you're in high school, and now you're playing football. Your coaches see, did you know that you really had the skills? Because I know we all saw Cooney, Kimble Anders, name being called a lot, in high school. But did you
Mhm.
really know you had what it took? You had that it factor?
You know what? One thing I will say, I always had the passion, the desire, and the love. And I know
Yes.
told when you say that, because love hurts. You know what I mean? And
Come on.
when you're able to play this game when you ever play this game of football, you're not gonna be successful all the time. You gotta learn how to win. You gotta learn how to lose. You gotta learn how to take criticism. I mean, because especially back then, the coaches were like rah rah
Um,
rah. They was on your butt. You didn't know your name. Your name was every
you didn't know
curse
what your
word.
name was.
Yeah, yeah. Your name was
Good.
every curse word. So we went through that strict. Coach Ted Umhagen was a military guy, um, so I didn't know at the time, but I knew I had potential. I knew I had the desire, and I knew I had the passion for what I did, and I loved it. I mean, I really love football. I slept with a football from the eighth grade all the way to high school every night. Like in my bed when I'm at home sleeping, I slept with a football under my arm, and
Wow.
that was my way of kind of having that dream of doing something, and
Awesome.
and then that was just one of my little hidden secrets that I don't think anybody ever heard.
Okay, affirmations.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it was definitely passion, and like I say, sports was it was a tool. It was a tool to my life. You know what I mean? And one of the biggest things as well is understanding that the football part is part of your life, and then education. Because I wasn't. I'm gonna say
Come
this.
on,
I
say
wasn't.
that.
I wasn't the smartest guy in the world, but I was smart enough to make sure I get my grades and make sure I did the right thing and not disrupt people's classes and make sure that I understood what I had to do. We had to pass tests. You
What
got
it
to do all that
required
stuff. What it required and more. And I did more. You know what I mean?
and more.
And
That's good.
yeah, long haul now, I'm able to say, it's way more important than I thought it was initially. Because if I
Yes.
wouldn't have got a master's degree, I wouldn't be able to do some of the things I'm able to do now. So I mean,
So
and right
true.
now, I tell any kid, education is important. I mean, you got a full
Definitely it is.
scholarship, go there and get that degree.
Go
There's
get
no,
it.
there's no way. That's your award right there. That degree, the football is a bonus. You know,
It's a
of
bonus.
sports.
That's great wisdom. That's some
Yeah.
great wisdom. And I love how you explained it, that you didn't initially know that that was required, and you actually was going the extra mile getting your, we used to say our studies, getting our
I
lesson
said,
done,
yeah,
doing
yeah.
homework, applying ourselves. I love it. But we had coaches, like you mentioned, some of the coaches, they actually encouraged you back then.
Oh yeah,
Educators wanted us to get it.
yeah. And I would say
Yeah.
this though, we had, especially going back to Booker T. Watts, we had some powerful teachers
Come
that
on.
would not allow you to slack off in class. They would
Mm-mm.
push you. They would keep you after school. We had after school programs, and they made sure like they were they were teachers. They were educators.
Yes, come on. They wanted
They
you to
and
get
they
it.
and
Yes.
they really and they truly cared about you. Like for the most part, we had those. I mean, it was like mothers and fathers. You know what I mean? That's how they
Yes.
treat. Like they really, they really care. You know, and they pushed us to a point where that it makes you because they pushing you. You gonna push yourself. You know.
To be better at who you are, not
Yeah.
only as a student, but for your future.
Yeah, for the future. Yeah, and we talked a lot about the
Yeah.
future. And yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. And I recall, yes, that was great.
Booker T. Washington and Carver, man, those teachers they were phenomenal. It was unbelievable.
They helped you become who you are today.
Yeah, yeah. So like
Yeah, that was a
through,
great foundation.
through my whole process, it's been blessings just sitting there, just touching
Come
me
on.
all across the whole path. You know what I mean? From the
Yes, I agree. The blessings of God was hand was on you from a
I give.
child. And even
Oh,
now.
even now, even more. Yeah,
Yes.
even now. Yeah,
Yes, even more. But I say that in regards to my, the terms I'm speaking of is, from a child you had adults looking after you and
right.
giving you unconditional love, and the nourishment, the cultivating from your coaches to other people's parents. And like you said, you were taken in by your sister's mom, and life changed, but God always had his hands on you. You recognize that. You always acknowledge God about doing that. And you even said now, blessings.
Yeah, definitely.
Being a humble person, do you often have an opportunity to tell someone, I am who I am because others was important in my life, or that they cared enough to import into my life?
Absolutely. That is my main statement to anybody, and that's especially to young kids and to adults. You know what I mean? Because you need someone that's gonna be with you and by your side and push you. And without them, I don't know what I'd be doing. You know what I mean? Because I mean, my
Wow.
stepmom at the time, she had no reason to take me, and she at
Come
that
on.
time she's married to my dad a long time ago.
Hmm.
They've been divorced. Matter of fact, she was
That's
just
true.
getting out of marriage with someone else, and we had very little contact. And but it used to. So the funny thing was, I used to walk to school back at Carver Day, and they stayed
Hmm.
right there. So I would stop by there every day.
Yes.
Hey, what day she loved to cook, so I would get some food. I get
Yes.
some lunch.
Love her
Away
food.
home,
Love her cooking.
get over there and relax, sit down, watch
That's
TV for a
awesome.
little while. Yeah, so that's when I was like what 10, 8, 9 years old. And like I said, then it
Yes.
came to the point where
Wow.
she knew my moms really well, and so she stepped up. So and I'm thankful and honored, and able to be at that point what I would say a more structural family. Uh, you know,
Yes.
she was working at Lipton Tea at the time, and
That's
she
right.
taught her. She was a disciplinary person, but the right way. You know what I mean? And she did some great. She gave me some great life lessons. The only one thing I regret the most that I didn't get, because every Sunday, we had to cook dinners and all that stuff. I was not. I did not get in the kitchen and cook. And my sisters, all of them, they the best cooks, and I
Yes. Yes.
can't cook. They just friends. And I
You,
wish I
you,
could cook like her. That's what I wish, because I was there the whole time. I mean, I could have been doing it and
yes.
like real. We ate Sunday dinners every Sunday. And we was eating together,
Every Sunday dinner.
going to
Yes, it
church.
was good
You
too.
know how that go? Yeah,
Yes, delicious, delicious. Your mom taught me how to eat. Was it pork? It was I didn't. I never had those pork chop. It was not. It wasn't pork chops. It was another form of pork, but it was so
Neck,
good that I had never. What was it?
neck bones.
No, it wasn't the neck bones. They were like pork chops. It was like steak, pork steak. I never had pork steak.
Oh, okay.
And she really knew how to prepare them and smother them. It was good. So, that was probably why I was trying to come over there every Sunday to
Oh,
enjoy
okay.
her food. Even though my family cooked a lot as well. But I tell you, it's just blessings when people are like that. But this is what I want to get to as well. You have a unique story about getting into the NFL.
Yes.
You talk about education, but then you was at U of H. We don't want to leave U of H out. You had a great career U of H. Talk about U of H and then get into how great was, let's say, unique opportunity, how you got into the NFL.
Well, so U of H, I was highly recruited coming out of there, and I went there for this thing called the veer offense, which was a running
Mhm.
offense where the running back carried the ball 20, 30 times a game, and that's what I did at Ball House, getting 30 carries a game. And
All right.
I actually, here's a funny thing too, because I said this, I tell Andre Ware this too sometime. My goal, I wanted to win a Heisman Trophy. You know what I mean?
Come on.
So as time went on, obviously, my first year I played. Second year, now I will say this, didn't get opportunity to play because I didn't. I was one credit short, and then I came back, and then I played my junior and senior year. And after that, so after my sophomore year, they decided to fire the head coach, which was Coach Yeoman at the time. And then we came
Hmm.
in with Jack Pardee, and Jack Pardee was
Remember Jack Party?
yeah, he was his staff. They all had NFL experience. So he brought this system in called a run and shoot, and it was wide open. Hey, that offense was so powerful. So matter of fact, we having a reunion coming up in a couple of weeks. Oh, okay. So just
Okay.
fast forward that. So being opportunity to be a running back. This was the first time. So that first my sophomore year, I had a great year. Made all Southwest Conference. Um, and then, uh, so when the new coaches came in, they started recruiting other guys, and my junior year I rotated with Chuck Witherspoon, which he became a full time starter after that because when you bring guys in that's new and they bring in what they want to do. So my senior
That's
year,
true.
I got moved to inside receiver. Okay. I got moved to inside receiver. So make a long story short, so things didn't work out, so I started playing receiver my senior year. Caught a lot of passes. I caught a lot of passes out
Yes.
the backfield, and that way now I get into the draft and didn't get an opportunity to get drafted. And I think it was to the fact because they didn't know what position, because I couldn't play as a receiver at that level, but I was a running back,
Mm.
fullback, whatever they wanted to label me. So, but it worked out for me in the long run. I was able to get opportunity to go as a free agent. Pittsburgh got cut, and then I was at home. And the mailman came by one day and he told me he knew somebody in Kansas City. If he give me an opportunity to go up there and work out, and then I went up there and worked out, and the rest is history. Now, I'm sitting
Wow.
here as a Chiefs Hall of Famer. So it's a great
Wow. Yes, you
long
are.
story. I mean, had to cut it down a little bit.
Look, cut it
It's a great,
down. Well,
yeah,
we got a few minutes just to say that you were Kansas City Chiefs. It was unique how the mail postal man got involved, which you
right.
said you don't even recall who that person was at this time or have not been able to reconnect with the person, but you always give acknowledgement to them. And again, that's what I love about your spirit. So
Yeah.
you're in Kansas City Chief, you have a 10-year, 10 season.
10
So,
season, yeah,
and that's amazing to
yeah,
be
yeah.
able to say that, and you're in great health. Tell us about how you work out and maintain.
Oh, it's true. Like right now, I just try to eat right, and I got this one little workout. My go-to workout is a hit plan is like alphabets, and I do it 5 days a week, and I just do
Wow.
little stuff. I'm not gonna ever lift anything heavy again, although I do
Okay.
lift weights, but I don't lift weights a lot. But I do mostly hit cardio stuff, and I my eating. I try to eat as best as possible for the most part, but. I'm able to kind of maintain a good weight. And my little 5 or 10 pounds, when I gain them, I'll be a little disappointed. But other than that, I've been, relatively healthy though.
That's great. So you pretty much stay fit as if you're still working.
You're
The
listening to the Lounge Soul Cafe on TLSC
Now
Radio.
your ordinary radio station. Want to podcast on TLSCradio.com? Submit your idea to contact@TLSCradio.com. Be sure to include your name, contact information, and podcast idea.
Tune into the TMI podcast every Wednesday from 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Streaming live on TLSCradio.com. Mobile and web. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
You're listening to the Lounge Soul Cafe on TLSC Radio.
Enjoy evening jams and podcasts Monday through Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Streaming live on TLSCradio.com. Mobile and web. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
Check out The Essential Show every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hosted by Mixmaster Nail C.
You're listening to the Lounge Soul Cafe on TLSC Radio.
You wanna do, 'cause I can't keep going through this, and I'm about to lose it, 'cause it's all night, yeah. You got me up until daylight, tossing, turning, trying to figure out if we're alright. It's not just tell me so. Something's wrong, what's going on? I need to know. You keep messing with my mind, telling me nothing is wrong with us, when your actions show something real different. It's like you're changing up. I don't know what to do, so I'm asking you. Maybe there's just nothing else left, and we let it go. Maybe we can try. I don't even know no more, but you can keep whatever this is. Oh baby, but I can't keep going through this, 'cause I'm about to lose it. You got me up all night. You got me up thinking about you. Can't get no sleep until daylight. Tossing, trying to figure out if we're alright. It's not just so I need something's wrong. I need to know. I need to know. You've been acting strange. It don't feel the same. I don't know what to do. I need to walk out the door. Oh, but then I want you more. But I can't keep going through this, 'cause I'm about to lose it. You got me up all night. You got me up thinking about you. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami. Ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami. Ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a while since you been out stepping on the town. Hope you don't mind if I ask you out tonight. And everything's on me, girl. Swear you don't need a dime. You deserve everything that's waiting for you. Be ready by night. And I hope you wear that dress I like. And don't worry about nothing. Tonight is you and I wanna dance with you, girl, all night. I wanna dance with you, girl, all night. It's been a while since we been out stepping on the town. Hope you don't mind if I take you out tonight. And it's all on me, girl. Swear don't need a dime. Everything that you need is waiting for you to have a about your hands on my body. Feels better than any man I ever met. Something about the way you just give me. Trying not, don't, 'cause I can't forget. You got a feel and a soul that I need in my life. Yeah, yeah. Oh. And though we may grow, I don't know why we don't grow apart. Maybe I need you. I breathe you, turning my heart blue. Maybe I need you. When I leave you, I see you. Ah, 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 First we agree that we better as friends. I delete every message that we send. Try to move on with somebody less like you. I don't know how we end up in the red. Find myself reading your comments again. And then we end up in each other's heads. It all makes sense because you've got a feel and a soul that I need in my life, babe. Oh. And though we may grow, I don't know why we don't grow apart, babe. Maybe I need you. I breathe you, turning my heart blue. Maybe I need you. When I leave you, I see you. Ah, 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 Maybe I just feel lost without you. Maybe I'm just pissed off without you. Maybe my life's just off without you. Maybe you're worth it all to me, baby. Maybe, just maybe.
Tune into the Morning Inspiration Show every day, starting at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on TLSCRadio.com, mobile and web.
This is CC, the Financial Diva.
And I am BJ, the Minister of Finance, and we are the hosts of the Financially Unhinged podcast,
where we discuss all things money and help make your money make sense.
And listen for a unique perspective on topics that can help you with budgeting, investing, and money management.
You can check out CC, the Financial Diva, and BJ, the Minister of Finance, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Lounge Soul Cafe radio station.
Slow down, slow down, slow down. I wanna know what's on your mind. I wanna know what I can do. I wanna know time for us. Make some time for me, baby. Make some time for love. Make some time for me. Make some time for us. Make some time for me, baby. Make some time for love. I know you're busy, baby. Trust I am busy too. But I'm never too busy, no, to make time for loving you. All you gotta do is make some time for you. Make some time for us. Make some time for me, baby. Make some time for love. Got so many applications pulling you left to right. How about answer me with no hesitation, girl? How about let me pull on you tonight? Do you remember?
You're listening to the Lounge Soul Cafe on TLSC Radio.
Oh, I was yours. Oh, you were mine. The time didn't matter. We had a ball. The phone was off. Who cared? Who called? You made me do wild things to you. I fell in love. You fell into. I want you more than I could say. Don't you want to play? Then make some time for you, baby. Make some time for us, yeah. Make some time for me, baby. Make some time for love. Make some time for you. Oh, come on, baby. Make some time for us.